The U.S. Small Business Administration, or SBA, empowers entrepreneurs and small business owners with the resources and support they need to start, grow, and expand their businesses or recover from a declared disaster. In the case of a declared disaster, SBA also assists homeowners, renters, small agricultural co-ops, and most private nonprofits rebuild and repair damages to help the economy recover and drive the economy moving forward. During times of disaster recovery, the SBA may establish a DLOC, or Disaster Loan Outreach Center. In June of 2023, Colorado experienced a series of severe storms, floods, and tornadoes that resulted in numerous federal disaster declarations, one of those being an SBA rural declaration. This also resulted in opening a DLOC in multiple counties. Today's video will focus on what a DLOC is, the process of opening a DLOC, and lessons learned from establishing a DLOC following the June 2023 disaster.
DLOC is a disaster loan outreach center, and what that does, it's a physical or a virtual center where disaster survivors who are interested in applying for SBA loans can go to get support around applying for their loans.
DLOCs are established when an SBA agency declaration has been made. Additionally, when a presidential individual assistance declaration is made, where SBA is automatically activated as a partner, we may convert a disaster recovery center, which is a FEMA-led center, to a DLOC if an SBA has a need to stay longer than FEMA. The DLOC is usually located nearby where the damages occurred.
So the process of putting together the DLOC really, was well defined, and just it needed to begin with the process of coordinating with local governments, and really identifying the need and support to get that done.
So once an SBA declaration is approved, the state will reach out to eligible counties to begin planning for the DLOC operations. To be responsive, SBA has an objective to open DLOCs within 72 hours. However, SBA will work with the state and the counties to determine an alternative opening timeframe. The emergency manager or local official communicates the need for the DLOC to the state before the declaration is granted. Then the local emergency manager or official identifies a no-cost and ADA compliant location before the declaration. Additionally, you identify a point of contact for the location and identify how long the DLOC will be open and closed. So that means two things. What is the duration in weeks, and what are the opening and closing times? Also, communicate that DLOC location address to the state, and then identify how the Small Business Administration team can send equipment to that DLOC location. Complete an SBA no-cost space agreement, and then finally work with SBA and the state DLOC team for any on-site logistics.
There are a couple of things that you can think of in advance, and that is, do you have a space? Generally have to be rent-free, space sufficient to provide for the staff and for the applicants, and to provide some semblance of privacy wherever possible, so that they can talk to those applicants about their financial situation with some privacy. And parking, another thing to keep in mind. Restrooms available, a must. Is it available for, say, 1 to 3 weeks? Or longer if it warrants. It just depends on the situation and the devastation and the need of the community. But is it available? And is it available from 9 to, say, 6 p.m.? Because those are the general hours. Again, those are things that you wanted to talk to your operations specialist about.
A DLOC is often identified or preferred to be identified before the declaration is approved. So it's always good to prepare your county or your municipality beforehand, or tribal government beforehand, to identify locations for the disaster loan outreach centers.
So really on our end, I think a good takeaway was making sure we had our ducks in a row and having all our information organized, that when it came time, we were able to make a case for our county that the SBA process was the way to go.
What if a physical DLOC is not needed? Then the local emergency manager or official will need to communicate to the state that a virtual SBA disaster loan assistance center is needed.
We did have an offering up front, both virtually or in person. We opted for the in-person option just based on our county dynamics and the personalities. Knew they would appreciate that probably more so than the virtual.
In addition, the local public information officer and state public information officer will need to work together to publish information about the DLOC, its logistics, locations, and timeframes for opening and closing.
Regional Field Manager Corey Stark was the primary. He was a great liaison and coordination point between us and the state throughout the entirety of the process, from the FEMA declaration on into the DLOC notification and navigating that process. He helped paint the picture for us of what we could expect, what options were available to us, and then we just had good communication with regards to how can we communicate with the public and when can we. So.
The messaging around the DLOCs and the disaster assistance process and the recovery programs is paramount and became a large focus for the county and state of Colorado, and ensuring that those folks impacted by the natural disaster sought those services and knew how to find them.
I would say our county leadership, the policymakers and the senior leadership in general were supportive in us just exercising our process. And as long as we communicated well with them and helping them understand time frames and what are some of the next steps, and understanding it is a process and a lot of it is unfortunately just waiting, they were supportive of us being able to navigate it on behalf of our community. So I think that was very valuable as well.
Time frames can be short. Time frames can be important with both county and state governments, as well as the federal program requirements. And so it takes an effective synchronization between all three layers of government for those communities that are impacted directly.
Between the local county government and our state regional field manager, that relationship really just helped ease probably a lot of tensions, and it helped us navigate the process as a whole.
Working with the county government, the state recovery partners, became just a matter of coordination and putting everything in the right place at the right time.
Well, you still have the virtual DLOC. The virtual DLOC is, again, a very good resource because you can call them, you can email them, and they can help walk you through the process.
For additional information, there are a number of resources that can provide support. First, you can reach out to your Colorado Office of Emergency Management point of contacts. Our field operations managers work with county emergency managers throughout the state to provide direct assistance during emergencies and disasters. They can provide technical assistance and additional guidance on which resources may answer your questions. Following disaster, information can also be found through the SBA Virtual Disaster Loan Outreach Center, or by reaching out to the SBA via their website, customer service center, or email. DLOCs can play a pivotal role in bringing assistance to disaster survivors. Understanding what they are and how to plan for one helps partners come together and efficiently bring these resources to communities throughout Colorado.